Hello there, my name is Charles de Pierpont. I am a PhD researcher at IRES, UCLouvain. My advisor is Gonzague van Ronberg. My research explores how globalization shocks shape the economic linkages between population and the geographic distribution of wealth. Globalization has multiple phases. In Western Europe, we can consider the Roman conquest as the first major globalization shocks that Europe experienced. For the very first time, its highly diverse people and tribes share the same both local and more general imperial institutions for more than 3 centuries. So these institutions were relatively uniform across the western part of the empire and consisted most of the time in an urban center where there was a representation of the Ordo Decurionum, that is the local elites, and the populus, the rest of the represented population. And this institutions were present in the major part of Western Europe. It was relatively big political integration because the institutions were highly similar. The Romans also created the very first large-scale road network ever existed in the western part of Europe. So it was not only a political integration, but also an economic integration. And this economic integration was a bit less uniform. It connected specific regions and neglected some others. But there was no direct evidence that this trade integration, this Roman trade integration, survived until now. Exploiting trade data from the European institutions, I created bilateral regional trade dataset that allowed me to test that. It appears that both the economic and the political integration under the Roman state, the two channels have actually a very strong impact on the current trade linkages that exist between the European regions. The biggest part of this impact is associated with geographic features and differences in resources. It's highly probable that this part of the effect of this trade intensity that I detect will have exist even without the Roman intervention. It is also related to the current trade cost and the current road network that follows more or less the past Roman roads. So there may be an impact of the Romans through the fact that our current network is following the past network. But a sizable part of the effect is attributable to cultural convergence associated with both the Roman political and economic integration, even separately. So that means that this cultural convergence that may have triggered similar preferences in goods will still actually foster trade currently. This finding highlights how past economic and political integration can have long-lasting impacts on economic linkages. Now you have an excuse to present to your friends and loved ones if you think twice a day about the Roman Empire.